In last week, we discussed stress management as our first session of PYC 1502, discussing human motivation. The two chapters relate, they interlink. However, for us to understand human motivation, we need to start by stress, because both of them has to do with what? The emotional aspects of things, psychology and society. So I'm going to lecture PYC 1501 and PYC 1502. The classes started last week. Hope you will catch up. PYC 1501 human motivation. Last week we did stress management, but before we start, I will open the study unit, the one that you online from your lecturer. Let me open it. The study unit 3. I've skipped study unit 1. I will discuss it later because it's short. Psychology of science. Last week we started from unit 2, which is stress. Today is motivation. Unit 3, motivation. So before we start, I want to share your voices. Let's look at the objectives first. Learning objectives. Define motivation. Discuss, distinguish between the different type of motivation. Describe the differentiate between process of motivated behavior and your results. Motivation. I like to do, or what I normally do, advise other students to do is, before you even go through the whole chapter, you need to have an ability to define certain concepts. When you hear the word concept motivation, define it yourself before you even open the textbook. Remember, it starts from you. Then you go through the study. Use knowledge first, then you discuss it. Motivation. What is motivation? Number one, motivation is defined as a process that initiates, maintain. So most of you mentioned that to motivate someone, to encourage someone. Yes, that's a form of motivation. So in academic sense, we can say motivation is defined as a process that initiates, guides, maintain a goal-directed, oriented behavior. Motivation refers to all mental activities that compel organism into action. It refers to all mental activities, organism action. Basically, motivation is what causes us to act, whether it's simply as going to the toilet, eating because of hunger, or enrolling for a qualification. So motivation is both internally. We are driven to achieve something internally or externally. Just a reference. Motivation is defined as the process that initiates. You woke up in the morning, you decided, no, I need to attend Mr. Zwane's class so that I can extend my studies, so I can get a better understanding of motivation, meaning you initiated it. It was an initiation that I need to wake up and study. Guides, maintain goal-directed behavior. Your goal is to pass the exam. Your goal is to master your assignment. Motivation refers to all mental activities, all forms of mental activities. Motivation is not only directed towards achieving something. Let's say success, completing your qualification. Most people who have motivation, they relate motivation towards success. No. Yes, they say motivation refers to all mental activities that compel organism to work. E.g., a simple thing like going to the toilet is a form of motivation because it's a drive to achieve something. Hunger. The need is the drive to achieve something. Hunger. And basically, motivation is what causes us to act. Anything that causes us to act is motivation. Running is motivation. Using the left lane instead of the right lane meaning it's something that causes you to avoid something. What meaning you want to avoid something. You have the pressurizing you in the right lane when you're driving, you decide to move into the left lane. That is a motivation on its own. It causes us to act, whether it is simply as going to the toilet, eating, and enrolling for qualification. So that is motivation. Thanks very much. Let's also check the definition, the one by the lecturer. It says, motivation refers to why people do what they do. Why people do what they do, the all mental activities. The significance of personal motivation can be seen in a variety of human endeavors. For example, the energy and dedication of an athlete who is busy preparing for Olympics. That is its motivation. The drive and ambition of young executive aiming for power and a self-discipline of someone determined to lose weight. Smoking, without motivation, achieving success will be difficult. Motivation is derived from then the keyword does the concept of motivation comes from. Where does the word motivation come from? The same motivation is derived from Latin word that movere, if I pronounce it, movere means to move. According to this theory, motivation is the word used to describe those processes that can arouse or instigate behavior, give direction. Purposeful behavior is motivation because it's purposeful. You initiate it in your mind. Hence, they say it's purposeful behavior. Continue to enable persistent behavior, lead to choosing and preferring a particular behavior. That is behavior according to the study guide. They say broadly defined motivation refers to the forces acting on within the person that cause them or to make certain decision, engage in this action. So this is what you find in your study unit. Motivation is divided into two aspects. Two aspects, that is the nature of motivation, nature of motivated behavior, as well as the process of motivated behavior. The nature of motivated behavior and the process. The nature will mean what is it? What is included in the motivated behavior? What elements are included in the motivated behavior? When you say motivated behavior, it really deeply what are we talking about? That is, motivation relates to other concepts in psychology, such as emotions, consciousness, and the free will. You cannot study psychology without knowing motivation. You cannot apply psychology without linking emotions, consciousness, and the free will. Free will, they will tell you, the first step to recover is to admit that you have a problem. You can have changes, you can have difficulties in your life. However, if you are not willing to seek help, you won't be helped. Emotion has to do with psychology. When you go to therapies having a problem, it's related to emotions. You cannot detach emotions from you cannot detach emotion from motivation. Feelings have to do with emotion. You have to study with stress in order to understand what we mean by stress and anxiety, feelings and emotion before we went to motivation. Motivation relates to other concepts in psychology, such as emotions, consciousness, and free will. Consciousness, like we said, motivation is a goal-directed behavior. It is purposeful. You do something willing, meaning I'm motivated. Those are the nature. The nature of motivated behavior, emotion, consciousness, and a free will. They're not my right-hand side. The process of motivated behavior. The process, what happens? What happens? The process of motivated behavior. Motivated behavior consists of a sequence of related actions that are initiated, guided by a combination of instinct, drives, and rational consumption. Motivated behavior consists of a sequence of related actions that are initiated, guided by a combination of instinct, drive, and rational. Through motivated behavior, there are behaviors that are purposeful There are form of behavior that are instinctive, which come from internally. That drives rational concepts. Again, before we proceed here, let's check the study guide as well. What do they say about the nature of motivated behavior as well as the process of motivated behavior? Okay, let's check. So that will make sure that we cover everything. They say define motivation. We have defined motivation. They say differentiate between the different type of motivation. Describe the component of motivated behavior. Then below they explain the process of motivated behavior in its stories. The process of motivated behavior, meaning it is below. Yes. The process of motivated behavior. As already introduced, motivated behavior is characterized by a series of related actions that are initiated, guided by a combination of instinct, drive, and rational concepts. Research has been conducted to understand what drives people to think, feeling, and behavior. Among those motives, three main needs are identified: achievement, affiliation, intimacy. The need for achievement has been identified as the primary determinant of accomplishment and performance. The need for affiliation encourages positive interaction with others, while the need for intimacy leads to individuals seeking deep meaning and relation. Let's try to understand this in terms of instinct, drive, and rational concepts. They say among three motives, three main needs are identified. Number one, achievement. Achievement, we can relate it with simply drive or rational concept. You want to achieve something purposefully. Could be something that is rational, means something that you think about, something that you do purposefully in order to achieve it. Then there's affiliation. They say, okay, let's start here. The need for achievement has been identified as a primary determinant of accomplishment and performance. The need for affiliation encourages positive interaction with others. Like I've said, not only you want to achieve a success, either materially or internally. You not only want to achieve complete occasion, not only you want a best life for yourself. However, another goal would be to establish positive relationship with others. You are not living in isolation, you live with others. If you hear someone says you have an attitude, you have a negative attitude towards people, it hurts you, and your goal is to change so that we are accepted. You all want a sense of belonging. But the need for meaningful relationship, yes. Also, deep meaningful relationship. You can achieve, get your success. However, if you don't have a relationship with you, if people don't appreciate you, that will kill your spirit. That will kill your feelings, which relate to emotions. That is the process of motivated behavior. So let's continue using the main slide. The nature of motivated behavior, we explained emotion, consciousness, as well as the free will. Motivated behavior consists of a sequence of related actions that are initiated, guided by the combination of instinct, internal drive, rational concept. Moving on, we have what? The nature of motivated behavior. We are trying to break down the nature of motivated behavior. The nature, like I've said, the nature of behavior, the key concepts inside. The keys inside. The nature of motivated behavior, emotion, consciousness, and the free will. The nature of motivated behavior, the dimensions of motivation, as well as the sources of motivation. You'll find it in your study. The dimensions, how to break down motivation. One, we have the psychoanalytical theory. Psychoanalytical theory pushes unconsciousness. You start about this theory from a first level, second level, third, even your master's level. This is a key theory, psychoanalytic theory, which determines the unconscious behavior, conscious and unconscious nature of motivation. In short, there are behaviors, there are forms of motivation that are purposeful. Suddenly, you feel hunger, come from the internally. Then you decide, let me go get something to eat. Meaning that motive is driven, is conscious. Yeah, the need. You moving towards the kitchen or going to prepare the meal for yourself. That is a conscious behavior. However, unconscious behavior, they are internal. Something that is against beyond your control. They need to go to the toilet. It's unconscious, it's come from within. It can't see it. Okay, let me close. These people are making noise. Let me close the mic. Okay. Sorry for that. I was closing the mic for those who are talking at the back. Okay. I mentioned of motivation, like I said, psychoanalytical theory and consciousness. There are behaviors that are conscious and behaviors that are not conscious. There are behaviors that are instinct behavior and intrinsic behavior. Let's check the definitions. Let's check what do they mean in your study guide. What is psychological theory? What is conscious and unconscious nature of motivation? What is intrinsic and extrinsic nature? Let's open the study guide, the study unit, I mean. So I want to make sure that whatever that I discuss is in line with the lecturers. You see, differentiates between the different sources of motivation, the components of motivation. Let's go down and check. Yes. So this falls under the types of motivation. Type of motivation, there are two types, namely conscious versus unconscious. They are intrinsic versus extrinsic features. To be aware when it comes to motivated action. Okay, let me start off. There are two things, namely conscious versus unconscious, and intrinsic versus extrinsic features to be aware of when it comes to motivated behavior. Firstly, it is not always about being aware of the reasons for one's decision. Firstly, it is not always about being aware of the reasons. Not all actions are purposeful. Some are not purposeful because we are used to it. There's a need to go to the toilet. Suddenly you go to the toilet. You don't need to think about it. When you're a kid, normally it doesn't make sense to just poop yourself. But as an adult, you are aware what's happening. You run to the toilet. So here it says, firstly, it is not always being aware of the reasons for one's action. Consciously decided to act in a certain way. When it's purposeful, you act in a certain way. At times, what I meaning here, at times you are walking at the street, then you bump at someone hard. You bump at someone harder. The first reaction is to look at the person, whether it's a mistake or the person has done this purposefully. Sometimes just saying what's happening, you act aggressively. Like they said, at times you're not aware of your behavior. At times you just say the F word, whether a person made a mistake or not a mistake. Firstly, it is not always being aware of the reasons for one's decision. You hear a gunshot, suddenly you run. Because you know that gunshots is related to danger. You are aware. It is not always being aware of the reasons for one's decision. We act because we know. We didn't think consciously. You are in a disagreement with someone, suddenly or you hit the person, then you come back and say, "Oh man, I was not thinking possible." Yes, they say. Firstly, it is not always about being aware of the reasons. However, you act consciously decided to act in a certain way. For instance, we sometimes act without knowing why exactly we are acting in this way. Without thinking about the reasons for action, that is unconscious factors. You didn't think of the actions, unconscious factors. Then then there's psychoanalytical theory. As it will be explained later, say that states that unconscious factors can also be motivating. Unconscious factors can also be motivating. This means that even when we try to explain our action, the reasons for choosing a particular action remains hidden from ourselves. Most of this happens because we know. When someone drives badly, suddenly you know that you need to move away from that person. When you drive, you see the metropolis, you slow down. Thing that happens unconsciously because we're used to it. Secondly, our motivation can be internal, also known as instinct. Our motivation can be internally known as instinct, arising from within the individual, or externally known as extrinsic, arising from external factors, often include things such as rewards, tangible things, money, social recognition, as well as appreciation. So that's a key under the type of motivation. Under the type of motivation, in your study guide, in your study unit, you say, you highlight them. You can highlight the PDF. You highlight it. You choose the color, yellow, so that you won't forget the points. We have what? Intrinsic. So these are the key under the type of motivation. What else? The conscious and unconscious factors. So conscious versus unconscious factors. Type of motivation, 3 types of motivation: conscious versus unconscious, psychoanalytical, as well as intrinsic and extrinsic. Below, they are giving us a diagram to explain the internal and then external. We say internal is arising from within the individual. What motivates you internally? Type of motivators: intrinsic, autonomy, belonging, curiosity, love, learning, mastery, and meaning. It's a type of motivation that comes from within. You are studying because you like studying. You are studying because you want to achieve something. You want to add value in your life. You say that it's intrinsic because it's internal. Then externally, you are studying because you want to get a better job and earn money, buy your cars. Those are material things. Remember, there's no wrong or right. They're just differentiating between the intrinsic and the extrinsic. Extrinsic badges, competition, fear of failure, fear of punishment, gold stars, money, points, and rewards. When you do something, we like to get rewards. Imagine completing a qualification, but you don't get what? That paper, that certificate, and then evidence that you've studied. So that is a form of reward, that paper. Going to a graduation ceremony, taking pictures and post them. Those are extrinsic behavior. I hope we are clear. Then we move to the components. The components to motivation. They say anyone who has a set a goal, passing your exam at the end of the year or running the marathon next year, will soon realize that simply wanting to do something is not enough. Simply wanting to do something is not enough. So there's a want and motivation. You want to do something. That is just a want. Achieving such goal requires the ability to persevere in the face of trouble, endurance to keep going despite difficulties. You see, to go without difficulties. So you need motivation in order to achieve something. There are 3 major components of motivation. That is direction, intensity, direction, you highlight it, intensity, as well as persistence. You need these 3 concepts in order for you to achieve something. Saying it is not enough. Putting in mind is not enough. You have to apply direction. Refer to behavioral choice. It is what a person chooses to do when faced with the choice. For instance, a student who chooses to attend extra lessons to be able to complete an assignment on time instead of spending time with friends after class, regardless of the opinion option, the individual still is driven by motivation. Intensity refers to the attention and enthusiasm with which a goal is pursued. The amount of effort a person puts in. It is often measured as a task or effort. Intensity, effort that you put in. You want to achieve something, the effort that you put in order to achieve something. As a student, in a class, one student may breeze through with little effort, whereas other students will study regularly, participate in discussion, pursue research opportunities outside class. The first student in intensity level are lower than the second student, whereas the second pursues his education objective with a greater intensity. So in short, the three components that determine motivation. Normally, when you do multiple choice, you see, three, choose the incorrect answer. Choose the incorrect answer below. There are three major components to motivation. Then we write direction, intensity, persistence, as well as perhaps optimism. According to CEO, there are three major components of motivation. Mention the incorrect one. We put direction as an option, intensity as a motivation. Perhaps below we put optimistic. You choose the incorrect one. You know the incorrect one is the one that is not included here. At times you say choose one that is the most correct. Choose the one that is mostly correct. We check direction. However, instead of explaining direction in this way, we check the definition of intensity and put it under direction. We say direction refers to the attention and enthusiasm to which people. We say refer to attention and enthusiasm with which a goal is pursued and the amount of effort a person puts in. Put it under direction. So you need to know the meaning of direction compared to the. That's how we play around multiple choice. We play around the definition. Take this definition and put it here. This one here. They say choose the most correct about the three components of motivation. So know this by heart. Persistence is a continued commitment towards attaining a goal, even through obstacles that you may face. We go back to the main slide. So we are done with dimensions of motivation. We did explain the psychology theory, which is unconscious behaviors. They need to go to the toilet. It's something that is unconscious. However, when you go to the toilet, become conscious that you know that when you feel like this, you go to the toilet. When you feel like this, you need to you are thirsty. Conscious and unconscious nature, intrinsic behavior. Now, the sources of motivation. The sources of motivation. We have biological pattern of behavior, biological patterns of behavior. We have homeostasis, optimal arousal as well as cognitive. So these are the key, the sources of motivation. Where does motivation stems from? The source. When you talk about something, then we ask you what's the source of information? How does it begin? What is the source of information? The source of motivation. The source of how does motivation start? What are the keys under motivation? Biological patterns of motivated behavior, homeostasis, optimal arousal, and cognitive. Okay, let's explain them according to the unit. The sources of motivation, according to cited from your the recommended book, there are at least 4 sources of motivation, namely optimal arousal as well as cognitive. Let's see. How do they explain them? Biological patterns of behavior. Biological patterns of behavior, also called instincts, are fixed, inborn. As soon as we hear the word biological, meaning we're speaking about something that is tangible, a physical aspect of your body. Biological patterns are also called instincts, are fixed, are inborn, unlearned, they're within you. Patterns of behavior that help species survive. Experiencing a headache. You're not feeling well, it's a headache, meaning it's an inborn thing. You are hungry, your mind tells you that you're hungry, it's an inborn thing, something that you cannot move away from. It's fixed, it's inborn. Charles' theory of evolution and theory of natural selection influenced the instinct theories of Williams, as well as William James and Williams. Later, the trial processes, so we'll explain it later. Let's explain how biological homeostasis. They are intrinsically, what you need to know about this biological pattern, they are inborn. You cannot deprive of biological, fixed and inborn and learned. Makes us to survive. When lions are hungry, instantly they know that they need to go and hunt. It's something that is instinctive. They don't wait for food. They go for food. When they see a zebra, they know that they need to attack. Then we have what? Homeostasis. Homeostasis, William James proposed a list of human instincts that motivate behavior, such as attachment, play, shame, fear, shyness, modest, and love. This theory, however, did not necessarily explain the behavior. Rather, it merely described it. William, on the other hand, claimed that instincts are the driving force behind human behavior. Instincts are the driving force of human behavior. Yes. Instincts are the driving force of human behavior. He proposed positive psychology, also known as comic psychology, which says that people's actions are performed with a specific purpose or intent, in contrast to Freud. You see how many theories are there? We have William James, we have Williams, McDougall. They mentioned Fred. You need to know these theories, because when you ask a mathematician, they must you which theory, but propose a list of human instincts that motivate behavior, such as attachment, play, and shame. Then we list 4 theories. We list William James, we list Freud, we list any theory Smith, we list Charles. Theory propose a list of human instincts that motivate behavior, such as we need to know what Williams' theory, what does William talk about, what does Freud talk about. Found the psychoanalytical theory. So we know that psychoanalytical theory, the one that is explaining the previous page, the theory is by Freud. Freud found psychoanalytical theory, which provides the framework for understanding the impact of unconscious of thoughts, feelings, behavior. According to Freud, individuals are motivated by what is outside of their immediate awareness, and human behavior is primarily driven by arousal, self. So you need to know who says this. This theory falls under, as soon as you see ego, superego, you know that's Freud's theory. Freud's theory. Biological patterns of behavior. Instinct. When you see the way, think of instinct, something that is inborn, something that you cannot control. The example would be a need that is internally, however, we act externally. We cannot control it. Then we have what? Polyhomeostasis. Polyhomeostasis, then make an example of the need to drink water is internal. The need to determine whether you are thirsty or what is polyhomeostasis. It's determined by polyhomeostasis. What is polyhomeostasis? What is polyhomeostasis? Like I've said, liquid in your body. There are three main types of homeostasis regulation that happens in your body. Namely hemoregulation, osmoregulation, as well as chemical regulation. They are mostly related to what? Liquids in your body. I'll propose that an individual's behavior was motivated by the need rather than the instinct. Biological pattern is instinctive, internally. Whereas this theory says, Hall proposed that an individual's behavior was motivated by the need rather than instinct, which will lead to an offset of the need. According to Hall, individuals have innate drive that accumulates over time and thus restore homeostasis. These drives are reduced by meeting their basic needs. You see Hall. So far, we know that is James' theory. Freud, Hall. Hence I say to you, when you study, highlight this theory so that you won't forget. Make sure that you know them by heart. Now and again, know them all. We create a table, column A and column B. In your table, column A, you write all the theories, Hall, Fred, James. On the right-hand side, you define them. Hall has to do with what? Homeostasis. Explain homeostasis. Fred, on the right-hand side, explains what psychoanalytical, the unconscious. You play around it to make your studies fun. So you know that Hall is to do with homeostasis. Homeostasis is a term that was first coined by psychologist Cannon, another theorist. Who is the founder of homeostasis? You need to know the founder of homeostasis. Who proposes? Who defines homeostasis? You need to know who defines homeostasis. So here, homeostasis term that was first coined by the psychologist Walter Cannon in 1926. Homeostasis refers to the body tendency to monitor and maintain internal states such as temperature, blood sugar at constant and stable levels. Hence, I say homeostasis has to do with the internal, of which is mostly liquid related, determine the sweat, they say blood sugar. It refers to the body tendency, and let me highlight it. It refers to homeostasis refers to the body tendency to monitor and maintain internal states. What are those internal states? E.g., temperature, to determine whether it's hot or cold. It's through the homeostasis. To determine that you're not feeling well, you need to drink water, perhaps, or you need to go to the physician. It's through homeostasis. You have to have homeopath. There's a medical profession they call homeopath. You are running, that feeling, I'm tired now. I need some liquids. It's through homeostasis. Your high blood pressure is high through homeostasis. Blood sugar constant level through homeostasis. They say the cycle starts when the control center, which is often the part of the brain, receive input from the receptor, which are often variety of neurons. The control center then directs effector, which may be other neurons, to control the imbalance within your body. To control the imbalance in your body. Here they make an example in relation to homeostasis. Variables in homeostasis, the imbalance and the imbalance. input information sent along the afferent pathway, the control center, the feeling that I'm thirsty now. I need to drink water. Output information sent along the afferent pathway, afferent. So the receptors afferent. Change detected by the receptor response of the. In short, you are not feeling well. You decide to go to the doctor. The doctor prescribes certain medication. In order for you to feel well, you need to take 1, 2, 3. Your whole process is through what? Homeostasis, to bring your body into balance. Homeostasis determines the imbalance. You sweat. Well, as soon as you sweat, you need to drink water to bring balance. You're hungry. You need to eat to bring the balance in your body. Your blood sugar is high. It's high. You need to lower down sugar. Your blood sugar is low. You need to eat food in order to balance. That is homeostasis. It determines the balance in your body. So this is new. It was not included in the 2020 syllabus. The new concept started last year. They say there are 3 main types of homeostasis. Homeostasis regulation that happens in your body, namely pure regulation, osmoregulation, and chemical regulation. Pure regulation is a mechanism that mammals use to maintain body temperature by maintaining the stable internal temperature in order to survive. The ability to maintain stable body temperature is influenced by how these systems are regulated, as well as organism overall size. The term of system regulation, animals can be differentiated as endotherms and ectotherms. Animals, unlike humans, when you are cold with what? We can light fire, we can dress warm, we can take a shower. However, animals, the cold-blooded animals, they can warm themselves. Hence, they use animals here. They say endotherms are also known as warm-blooded animals. Depends and rely on internal physiological process to maintain somewhat consistent body temperature. Birds and mammals, include humans, are endotherms. They warm themselves. That is endotherms. Then we have endotherms, are also known as cold-blooded animals. Animals depend on external sources to regulate their body temperature. Example of endotherms are in amphibians. They can't warm their body. However, they depend on what? External sources. External sources will be what? They choose. Either they dig a hole to warm themselves up, unlike the warm-blooded animals. So those are the examples. The following explanation is given for the organism size known as surface to volume ratio. Large organisms have much larger body volume, causing them to generate more body heat. Larger organisms, like bears. Bears live in either cold or warm place. They survive through that. Small organisms, on the other hand, have high surface volume ratio, but produce little body heat. You can say those are reptiles. They lose more body heat than they produce, requiring their internal system to warm much harder to maintain a consistent body temperature. This is also true for babies, particularly those born prematurely. Maybe asking yourself, why do we use animals? This is psychology. Psychology, you mostly relate to humans. Why do we use animals now and again? So like I said last week, certain theories we apply through animals in order to make sense. At times it's unethical to use humans. They'll tell that it's unethical to use humans to determine certain aspects in the body. Physician, medical school, they use a frog or a rat to determine operation. They don't use a live person, they use animals. They say it's ethical rather than using humans. So same applies. For us to know whereas small organism can detect it, large organism can detect it. We use what? Most animals to do that. Hence, now like you say animals compared to humans, animals compared to humans. Because psychology, we believe in practical evidence. You need to provide evidence to explain certain concepts. Osmoregulation serves to maintain the right amount of water, electrolytes inside and outside the cells in the body. The balance of salt, water across membranes plays an important role, as it is osmosis, which explain the name osmoregulations come from osmosis. In this process, the kidney are responsible for getting rid of any fluid, waste, electrolytes that is not needed in the body. Osmoregulation also affects blood pressure. So as I explained, when we hear the word homeostasis, most is related to temperature with the water intake, the fluid intake. Our body needs oxygen, glucose, and certain nutrients. There's the intake. Then there are waste products that are not needed by the body. Kidney does that. We excrete it not because we lower down water in our system. We pee, we go to the toilet not just because we want to get rid of water. However, we're removing the waste products, unnecessary things in our body. Then there's an intake. We eat, we drink to balance the two. Chemical regulation is the process by which the body regulates chemical mechanism in order to keep the system in balance. This use hormones as chemical signals. In the case of blood sugar level, in this situation, the pancreas will release either insulin when blood sugar levels are high. Insulin will assist in breaking down the sugar. When blood sugar are low, to maintain homeostasis, so it's vice versa. Homeostasis try to bring the balance. According to drive reduction of motivation, deviation from homeostasis creates physiological needs. That is, this needs result in physiological drive states that the direct behavior to meet the need and ultimately bring the system back to homeostasis. You see, according to drive reduction, there's drive reduction under homeostasis. They say deviation from homeostasis creates physiological needs. Deviation, meaning the body is normal when there's enough intake of water. Sugar is required. You don't need a doctor in that instance, or you don't need to deviate from what you are doing. However, deviation comes when the body needs something. Your physiological aspect. When you say physiological, you mean the body internally. There's a need for something. When there's a need for something, whether it's low blood pressure, you need to eat something. That's where homeostasis needs. Homeostasis needs to be balanced. They say that is these needs result from psychological drive states that directs the behavior to meet the need. Psychological, your mind directs the behavior to meet the need. You're not feeling well. It's psychological. It's physical and psychological. Psychology tells you, I need to do something in order to feel better. Ultimately, bring the system back to homeostasis. They're saying, for example, they're trying to explain what do they mean by this. For example, if it has been a while since you ate, your blood sugar level will drop. This low blood sugar level will induce physiological needs and correspondent drive state. That is hunger. Your body tells you that you are hungry. That will direct you to seek out and consume food. Eating will eliminate the hunger, and ultimately your blood sugar level will return to normal state. Interestingly, the drive theory also emphasized the role that habits play in the type of behavioral response in which we engage. A habit is a pattern of behavior which regularly engage. Flossing our teeth. Once the habit is formed, people act without making conscious decisions. So the behavior is not primarily motivated by deliberate pursuing a specific goal. For instance, in an example of floating habits, the ultimate goal is better, healthy, and hygiene. This takes time. You see, I think we do understand what you mean by homeostasis. So that's a key under the sources of motivation. Homeostasis. We are done with biological patterns. Homeostasis. Now we move to optimal arousal as well as cognitive. Optimal arousal as well as cognitive. Hope the session does. As soon as I'm done with cognitive, then I open the mics so that we can discuss. Optimal arousal. Individuals have characteristic level of physical arousal. Our characteristic level of arousal is determined by the characteristic ratio between sympathetic and parasympathetic reaction. Before we continue, arousal will mean you are alert, being aware of something, then your body reacts. Being aroused. We are aroused by hunger, you see food, you want to eat. That's a process of arousal. You are in a danger. Once you're in a danger, your body internally reacts. Lungs pump faster, blood pressure goes high, your brain rate goes high. That's a process of arousal. You are aroused by what you see or what you feel, how you feel like. They say our characteristic level of arousal is determined by the characteristic ratio between sympathetic and parasympathetic activity of our autonomic nervous system. The optimal level of arousal varies from person to person. Many factors such as genetics, experience, current mood may influence each person's optimal arousal level. The mood, they say mood, genetics, experience influence the current arousal level. Let's say you are doing this module for the second time. You failed it in the first semester. You are doing it for the second time, meaning as soon as you hear that there are classes conducted by UNISA, presented by Mr. Zwani, your arousal will be high, that I need to attend to those classes. Genetic experience, we have an experience that you need to attend class in order to pass this module. Your current mood can influence anything. Your mood swings can influence anything. That is arousal. How can your genetics influence the level of arousal? They say your genetic makeup may influence your arousal preference in general, but then the environmental factor can also influence how you feel at a particular moment. The environmental factor. People define their characteristic level of arousal. Some people arousal needs to be very low sensation seekers, while others arousal need to be very high. Some people need to be stimulated highly in order to react. Some low stimulation is fine. Performance is maximized at an optimal level and is tapped off during under and overstimulation. So this example of low sensation seekers and high sensation seekers would differ as individual, which is influenced by genetics. Genetic is more like something that you're inborn with. Let's say he or she behaves like this because of his mother. His mother used to behave like this. It's genetically, it's inherited from parents or siblings to sibling. They are similar because of it's genetically. He or she takes this from his father. He takes it from his in-laws. Genetically influenced. Researcher Jenkins and Johnson's the theory that we did last week about stress. This research by Jenkins and Johnson shows that moderate arousal is generally best when aroused in a higher or lower level. Performance transfer. For this, researchers discovered that optimal arousal level depends on the complexity and difficulty of the task. You are in a classroom, you are given an activity to perform. You are trying to differentiate what do they mean by low seeking sensation seekers and high sensation seekers. Let's use an example within a classroom setting. According to Jenkins and Johnson's law, they use two examples. They say, what can determine arousal? What it can determine a optimal arousal is whether arousal is very high or low. What determines that is the complexity as well as difficulty. When the task is complex, the complexity of the situation is determined by the person's previous experience with a similar situation. Additionally, if you are doing a complex task, high or low level of arousal will affect you more than if something is simple. We explained that figure. Complex tasks, they influence you to do more, to increase your performance. If something is complex or difficult, chances are that you'll increase your performance in order to achieve it because it is difficult and complex. However, if the tasks are simple, they are not motivating, you do less. They are less motivating. Chances are you are bored by routine tasks. If you do one thing over and over again, chances are that you'll get bored. Then meaning arousal level will be lowered because you are not motivated to do that thing. They say this is known as the Intrinsic law, which states that if you are given an easy task, you'll perform best when your level of arousal are likely higher than the average. So even if you are given a simple task, you cannot do it when your level of arousal is low, when you are bored. So you need to increase your arousal in order to do it. You need to motivate yourself highly in order for you to do it. Whereas if you are given a difficult task, you will perform best when your level of arousal are likely low than average. When you're given a task that is difficult, you'll do best. They say you'll do best when the level of arousal are likely lower than average. Because it's challenging. You need to focus. You need to pay attention to it. You need to relax in order to do it. That is optimal arousal compared to homeostasis. They create a diagram here to explain. They say arousal level at high or low. Performance at high or low. When arousal is low, meaning you are doing something that is boring, it makes your arousal to be low. However, the more the arousal increases, the optimal level, the more meaning you are motivated to achieve something. There's high anxiety. Anxiety is positive and negative. If there's high anxiety, meaning high arousal, performance is high. You are anxious to pass the exam. In short, you are anxious to pass the exam. Once you're anxious to pass the exam, you increase your arousal level to be high. You are more alert. Your performance will be high. However, low arousal, you are bored. You are not motivated to study. The results that you produce will be low as well. That is optimal arousal. Lastly, cognitive. Cognitive, in contrast to unconscious biological, remember the unconscious things that you do unconsciously. In contrast to unconscious biological mechanical decision-making process, cognitive process assess the motivational behavior and plus judgment, evaluation, decision-making. Conscious is more clear. You do things purposefully. You think about them. Cognitive means thinking, reasoning. You do things deliberate. That is, people are also motivated by what they value in the world around them. The wide range of social and cultural factors play a role in motivating behavior, even when behavior is related to biological drive, like hunger. So they give an example. What do they mean by cognitive? Let's assume currently that you are hungry. For instance, when you are thirsty, we might prefer a fizzy drink. When you're tasting, normally we prefer a fizzy drink. However, our health concern also comes into mind. Determine whether to drink water or fizzy drink, meaning you think about it. Do I need to drink alcohol because I'm thirsty? Do I need to drink milk, water, or fizzy drink? You think about it. You put mind into it. Then you decide, no, let me rather take water because I'm tired. Let me rather take water to stimulate my mind. You choose what to drink. Someone may say, let me drink a BioPlus. It's a thinking process, it's cognitive. They say in contrast to unconscious behavior, you need to go to a toilet to rush to a toilet without even thinking. You're sick, you experience headache, use grandpa without thinking. But when you put conscious into it, when you put thinking into it, cognition, you say, no. My daughter said I should not drink grandpa. Instead, I should consult Panaro because grandpa does 1, 2, 3 compared to Panaro. Meaning, you're applying your mind, cognition. That is cognition. Yes, you are motivated to achieve something, but you need to think about it. You think about it, rational thinker. The person is a rational thinker because you apply what? Cognition. You judge, you evaluate, decision making. You are hungry. When you're hungry, you don't eat anything that is at your disposal. You choose. Do I need to cook? Do I need to go to buy food? Do I need bread, pap? Do I need light food or heavy food? That is cognition. It's a thinking process in motivation towards achieving something. That is, the behavior is motivated from inside, instinctively as well as externally. Instinctively, there's the need to eat internally. However, extrinsically, what is it that I'm going to eat? I won't eat anything. There's a need. You want to buy a car, not any car. Then you think, no, it's currently South Africa, you're experiencing could be price increase of food, petrol is going up. When I buy a car, I need a car that is fuel friendly. Fuel consumption. You think of fuel consumption, you don't just buy a car. That is instinctively it's a need. Internally, you want to buy a car. Instinctively, you think about the practicalities of having a car. That is through cognition. They say evaluation, decision making, and judgment. That is cognition. You put your mind into it. You don't just do. That is cognition. So you are done with dimensions of motivation and the sources of motivation. When we start our discussion, we said the nature of motivated behavior, as well as the process of motivated behavior. The nature of motivated behavior is divided into 2 dimensions of motivation and sources. Now moving to the process of motivated behavior. Process of motivated behavior is divided into 2 as well. We have hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow, as well as the need in a socio-political context. Need in a socio-political context. Let's start with Maslow. The hierarchy of needs. This is a popular used theory in relation to motivation. High school, some of you have done this, grade 11, 12. Some of you is the first time seeing this theory. This theory is most popular because it's used at economics, business studies, engineering, psychology, education. You'll find this same theory, Abraham. It's a mostly used theory under motivation, the most popular, the most practical theory. You have biological needs, safety needs, need for love, for belonging, need for esteem, as well as needs for self-actualization. Let's check your notes. Maslow, yes. Here's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What the theory of motivation described earlier, the biological drive, individual characteristics, social context, Abraham Maslow proposed a hierarchy of needs that encompass a wide range of motivation from biological to individual social. These needs are frequently depicted as a paradigm. Let's start with, let me enlarge this so we can see. Yes. Self-actualization. Let's start below. Physiological needs. Maslow says, in order for people to achieve their ultimate needs, according to Maslow, in order to achieve your most important need, mostly all the time, the most important need is to be successful, complete our studies, and become better people. According to Maslow, in order for us to strive in achieving our ultimate goal, we need what? We need first to satisfy our physiological needs. What are the physiological needs? Breathing, food, water, the need for sex, sleep, homeostasis, and excretion. These are the key needs. We need to eat in order to be motivated to do something. The breathing need. If you don't breathe, we die. We need water intake. It also include what? Sex, particularly for animals. Have you seen animals during mating season? Have you seen the elephant during mating season? If there's that need to mate, they become aggressive. They fight with everyone. They hit trees. You don't need to be next to an elephant during mating season because they are aggressive. They need to release. Then there's homeostasis. Homeostasis, the one that we're explaining, the need, the imbalance in our body. Feeling thirsty, not feeling well. You can't achieve not feeling well. Then there's need for excretion. You need to check out waste products. So according to Maslow, in order to move to the next need, this need needs to be satisfied now and again. They need to be satisfied now and again in order to achieve the next need. The next need in this case is your safety, security of body, employment, resources, morality, family safety, your health and property. For you to study, currently, for instance, for you to attend these classes, firstly, you ensure that you need a safe environment. Besides the safe environment, you need a secure environment where you won't be disturbed. Like for instance, me, before I start the classes, I speak to the people who must stay with. I say, guys, I'll be facilitating the class from 8 to half past 12. Please make sure that you lower down your voices, or I move away from them. Same applies in the case, meaning safety is not only about safety that will be hurt by something, it's about safety and security. You look at the environment that you are in. It says security of the body, employment, the resources of morality, our family health and property. For you to achieve, you need a secure environment. Financial security, love and belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy. You need people around you. You need to feel a sense of belonging. You are not living in isolation. You can seek success. You get your success, you are successful. Imagine staying alone while you're successful. Not staying alone, not having anyone in your life. It's not about staying alone, but not having people that you can talk to, people that you can share things with. There will be a void. That's what Maslow is saying. You need to fulfill these aspects in your life in order to define yourself as fully actualized. You need to fulfill these aspects. Esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. You need it in order to feel valued in life. Self-actualization affects problem, spontaneity, creativity, and morality. Let me explain this. This is the key that you need to actually. Let me explain this using an example. Let's explain this using examples in order to make sense of this. Let's start here first. At the base of pyramid are all of the physiological needs that are required for survival. One, physiological needs are for survival needs. Water intake, food, sex, what else? Homeostasis are survival needs. Breathing, your survival needs. Then these are followed by what? Safety and security needs. The need to be loved. We have the need to be loved, sense of belonging, the need for self-worth, confidence, self-esteem. The top layer of paradigm needs is self-actualization, which is the need that essentially equates reaching one's potential. According to Maslow, self-actualization reflects the process by which a person realizes their full potential. That is self-actualization, reaching or realizing your full potential. Maslow suggests that it is an ongoing, lifelong process that only small percentage people actually achieve self-actualization. According to Maslow, few people achieve this. Only few people achieve this. So let's make an example here. Let's say you are going for a camp. Let's assume that you are going for a camp. Let's apply this need campsite. You are going for a camp. Number one, you need to choose where to go. When you go for a camp, firstly, you determine what's your physiological needs. You need water. The place that you choose, you should have water. Or you carry your water. The food. Whether you carry your food or you're planning to hunt, there should be food to check around. Is there any food? Is there a water intake? Is there a river where you can boil some water? Are we going to be able to sleep? Are any mosquitoes? We don't need mosquitoes because we get ill. Those are physiological within a campsite. Two, when choosing a place, you think of the safety. Are there any lion, snake in the campsite? Any criminals in the campsite? You determine. How are we going to sleep? Up or below? Are we going to carry our tents? Are we going to build a house? Or there's a house nearby? That is security. The need for belonging. When you go for camp, you go with people that you know that you a sense of belonging. If you don't go with people, immediately in the environment, you associate yourself with people that you feel a sense of belonging, whether it's friends or family, a sense of belonging, esteem. If you're accepted, if there is a sense of belonging, automatically that will boost your confidence. If people respect you, it will boost your confidence. If you respect others, it will boost your confidence. Ultimately, you'll achieve the goal. The goal, you have to go to a camp because you like to deal with certain phobias, internal phobias. You fear animals, you fear outdoors. Going to a camp was to deal with those phobias. As soon as you achieve those, then you can say you have self-actualized, you have achieved the goal that you intend to achieve. So this is a practical example on how Maslow can be applied in different settings. Another example is you are looking for a job. You apply. Number one, for you to, then you get a call for interview. For you to master the interview, normally they give you a glass of water to balance your homeostasis. You are anxious, you are scared. So water plays a huge role in lowering your nerves. Homeostasis, when you are anxious, there's imbalance in your body. You need to eat. You need to sleep before that. Enough in order your mind to relax. You need to control a breathing technique as a survivor need. As soon as you get interview, you need to relax, control the breathing rate. Then, before going to an interview, you need to determine. Normally, your safety is important. When you apply, you check that if the company does exist. When they give you an address, you talk to people or check online if the company does really exist. The location, you choose whether you take a taxi, you Uber, or you ask someone to drop you there. That's safety needs. Because you want to go there to interview. You go there, you get an interview. It happens that you become successful. Then you start working. When you start working, Yes, you have your own family at home. However, you will develop some relationship, friendship within the workplace, whether it's your life partner or his friends. There is a sense of belonging. Imagine doing your task in the workplace, but no one recognizes you. You need rewards, whether it's tangible rewards or psychological. Someone tells you, yeah, Samantha, you are doing your work. It's good that you are doing your work efficiently, effectively. Thanks for that. Keep it up. You need comments like that to feel a sense of belonging, to feel loved. You need people that you associate with. Remember, in your place, you spend 8 hours, normally from 8 to 4 o'clock. That's where you spend most of your time in the workplace. If there's no sense of belonging, you won't develop a self-esteem. That will crush you. So for you to develop for you to develop this esteem, you need a sense of love, sense of belonging, being appreciated. Then your confidence will increase. If your confidence is increased, suddenly you achieve what? Your self-actualization, your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal was to work there, achieve, get a promotion. If not get a promotion, continue with your studies, get a raise. If this is achieved, automatically the influence of self-actualization. So you can apply Maslow in any different aspects in life. Hence, it's the most used theory under motivation. Moving on, we are done with Maslow. Now we are doing what? Davis. In as political context, we have Davis. Davis says, let's check Davis before we explain this. Let's check Davis. Davis says, yes, Maslow theory is correct. Maslow theory is the most important theory. However, you can add 1, 2, 3. So normally, as a theorist, you come up with an idea, you come up with a notion, a theory. It's used. There will other external theory who come and criticize it. Some they add on it, some they criticize it all together. They say that that's a rubbish theory. Doesn't make sense. Someone will come, no, your theory is correct. However, you should add 1, 2, 3. So that's it, David. Does not disagree with Maslow's theory. However, he says, instead of adding all these aspects, you need to consider the physical needs, social affective needs, the need for self-esteem, the need for self-actualization. This is how the theory should look like, according to Davis. Let's check what that Davis says in the notes. According to Davis' theory, it says Maslow's hierarchy of needs continues to be significant contextual contribution to understanding motivated behavior. It emphasizes the fact that behavior is founded on a set of interconnected needs, rather a set of discretely individual needs. Some researchers criticize the theory. You see, some researchers criticize the theory, like Davis. Criticize the theory, claiming that it is not empirically based, but rather subjective. According to this theory, Maslow theory is not empirically based, right? It's subjective theory that it's limited when it's tested in different contexts. According to your theory, this theory is limited when applied to certain contexts. That the idea that only one level of needs could be sorted and achieved is unrealistic, according to the critics. This theory is unrealistic. For instance, the level change as people age. According to this theory, it says this Maslow theories, let's go back. According to these critics, it says these theories, these needs, physiological safety, love, esteem, actualization. Let's go back. They say the levels change as people age. According to these theories, they differ from age group. From age, you cannot apply to this theory in certain age groups. Let's say children, you cannot apply this theory under children. According to this, the levels change as people age. Physical and security needs become the highest level of attainment instead of self-actualized needs. Let's look at this case. We are studying online. We are no longer attending face-to-face classes, meaning there are goals changes. You need to find a secure environment in order for you to study online. You cannot study online if your household consists of what? 10 people. You share a room with someone. It's 3 in the room. You're living in a 4-room. The sitting room is closer to your bedroom. It's difficult to conduct classes in such setting. Hence, they say it depends from your age grouping, depend on the circumstance. Physical and security needs become the highest. Currently, physical and safety needs, security needs become the highest. You need to buy data to attend classes. It's difficult to apply Maslow theory that you have to achieve first physiological needs, go to safety, need for belonging. According to it says, no. Needs differ now, unlike before. Before you could follow one step by step. Now you need to focus on a certain need in order to achieve certain need. You see, that's it. As many critics as they were, the theory evolved through adaptation. Christian Bay, a political scientist, argued that Maslow's hierarchy of needs could be adopted to better understanding of government policies to respond to demands of people. It is meant to serve. According to this theory, according to Christian Bay, saying you can apply this theory in politics in order for the policies to assist people to achieve their needs. Yes, there's lower level and high level. Yes, you'll find that government, when people are suffering, they think of most, and the NGOs, they think of, we need to provide food, you need to provide some, you need to provide food parcel, not psychological well-being. This is how Christian Bay says, you need to look at the needs of the community in order to achieve as a government. He proposed 3 categories of needs: needs for sustenance and safety, community needs for love, belonging, subjective needs, individual identity, dignity, and self-development. You can apply this theory in different aspects. However, the most important one is Davis, the one that I'm discussing now. Davis accepts Maslow principles that needs are hierarchically organized, such as innate needs are met, new demands, dignity, shared power could be met. According to Davis, he said, Davis distinguished 4 substantive needs and 3 instrumental needs. That is, people work in their attempts for self-actualization. People work in their attempts for self-actualization. Their instrumental needs. People instrumental needs help them satisfy their substantive needs. The 4 substantive needs: physical, social, self-esteem, as well as self-actualization. Those are substantive needs. Whereas the instrumental needs are security, knowledge, and power. Let me sum up this in order for you to understand. According to Davis, hierarchy of substantive needs puts people's life in social, psychological needs. According to Davis, in order to achieve certain things, you need a power. You need money to achieve certain things. That is Davis. You can't achieve certain things without power. You can't achieve your physical needs without having a financial power. Davis play with individuals first have to fulfill their basic physical needs, such as food, water, a place to stay. Then, when these needs are satisfied, then they are able to organize themselves into a community. But according to Davis, in order to achieve this, you need what? Social effectiveness. You need esteem. You need security. You need power in order to achieve those things. Without power, you won't be able to achieve those things. People instrumental needs help them satisfy substantive needs. These are instrumental needs. What are instrumental needs? These are instrumental needs: security, knowledge, and power. You need instrumental needs to achieve substantive needs, according to Davis. What are substantive needs? physical, socio-affective, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Let me repeat. Davis says, people need instrumental needs to achieve substantive needs, which Maslow didn't touch on. What are instrumental needs? Security, knowledge, and power. Power could be financial power. Knowledge, the know-how, how to do something. Security, it could be again a financial power. You need a security, you need a job in order to achieve certain things. What are those things? Are substantive needs. Physical has to do with water, food, eating. You need money to buy those things. You need knowledge, power to achieve social effective, self-esteem, and self-resolution. If you don't have money, chances are your esteem will be affected. That's his Davis. The way he explained it. Maslow says, for you to achieve self-actualization, you first need psychological needs, safety needs, need for love, esteem, and a self-actualization. However, David says, no, you are correct. However, for you to achieve the ultimate goal, you need to start certain, you need power, you need security, you need knowledge to achieve all of this. You cannot just achieve this. So that's it for today in relation to motivation. Let me check.